What if the person you trusted most, the one you shared your life and children with, turned out to be the person you should fear the most? What if what started as love, admiration, and connection slowly transformed into control, manipulation, and terror? Houseville, true crime involving family. Every family has secrets, any family can cross the line. This is the story of Hannah Clarke, a young mother from Brisbane, Australia. A woman who loved fiercely, fought bravely, and ultimately lost her life and the lives of her 3 children to a man who couldn't let go. This is not only a story of domestic violence. It's about a system too slow to respond and a nation forced to confront the reality of coercive control. Hannah Clarke was born in 1988 into a loving and supportive family. Her parents, Lloyd and Sue, raised her with strong values and a belief in self-respect and kindness. From a young age, Hannah stood out. She was athletic, driven, and full of energy. She had a passion for fitness and helping others, which eventually led her to become a personal trainer. Hannah was vibrant and social. She made others feel seen and supported. But above all else, she was a devoted mother. Her 3 children, Aaliyah, Leanna, and Trey, were the center of her world. To those who knew her, Hannah was the kind of mother who gave everything for her kids. Her social media showed a happy, healthy family, but not everything was what it seemed. In 2008, Hannah met Rowan Baxter, a former rugby player from New Zealand. He was 11 years older, charming, confident, and seemed stable. Their relationship moved quickly. He proposed, and by 2012, they were married. From the outside, they looked like a picture-perfect couple. Both were in the fitness industry. Both shared posts of workouts, kids, and family holidays. But the image was carefully curated. Behind closed doors, Baxter's behavior began to change. He became controlling. What began as subtle criticisms about her outfits, her friends, her parenting soon turned into isolation. He restricted her access to money, monitored her movements, and slowly dismantled her independence. Friends and family noticed that Hannah had changed. She seemed more withdrawn, less confident. Her usual spark was dimming. Baxter's control grew stronger over time. He dictated how she dressed. He checked her phone. He used guilt and shame to keep her compliant. In public, he was charming. In private, he was oppressive. Like many victims of coercive control, Hannah rarely spoke openly about the abuse. She likely feared judgment, escalation, or disbelief. Her children became her anchor. She stayed because she wanted to protect them. But over time, it became clear that staying was the greater danger. In late 2019, after more than a decade of emotional abuse, Hannah found the courage to leave. She took her children and moved back in with her parents. For many abuse victims, leaving is the most dangerous time. For the abuser, it represents a total loss of control. Baxter's response was immediate and terrifying. Just days after the separation, he abducted their daughter, Leanna, during a scheduled custody visit. He returned her unharmed, but the message was clear: he could still reach them. Hannah filed for a domestic violence order, or DVO. It was meant to limit Baxter's access and protect her and the children. But enforcement was weak. Baxter continued to harass her, showing up uninvited, sending threatening messages, and refusing to comply with legal processes. Despite multiple breaches of the DVO, Baxter faced few immediate consequences. The family court system was slow, overloaded, and ill-equipped to handle the urgency of coercive abuse. Baxter resisted custody negotiations and declined to participate in mediation. Meanwhile, Hannah tried to reclaim her life. She reverted to her maiden name, rejoined the fitness community, sought therapy, and focused on her children. Those close to her said she seemed lighter, hopeful even. But Baxter's behavior was growing more erratic. He blamed Hannah for his misery. He told friends he wanted to punish her. His instability was increasing and nobody could stop him. On the morning of February 19, 2020, Hannah did what she always did. She got her kids ready, loaded them into the car, and drove toward school. But Baxter was waiting. He ambushed her vehicle on Raven Street in Camp Hill. He was carrying a knife and a jerry can of petrol. He forced his way into the car and doused the interior in fuel. Within seconds, the car was on fire. Bystanders rushed to help, but Baxter blocked them with the knife. Then, in a final act of cruelty, he stabbed himself to death. The fire raged. Inside the vehicle were 3 innocent children. Hannah managed to escape the inferno. Despite her body being almost entirely covered in burns, she was conscious. Her final words spoken to those who tried to help were, "He poured petrol on me." She was rushed to the hospital with burns covering 97% of her body. Hours later, she passed away. Her 3 children, Aaliyah, 6, Layana, 4, and Trey, 3 died at the scene. The nation was stunned. The Clark family murders sent shockwaves across Australia. The brutality, the premeditation, the fact that the signs had been there, it was all too much. Vigils were held in every state. Families, survivors, and advocates demanded change. Hannah's parents founded Small Steps for Hannah, a foundation focused on preventing domestic and family violence through education, legislation, and community engagement. Their goal is to ensure that no more lives are lost to the same patterns of control and silence. Hannah's story is not just about tragedy, it's about patterns. Coercive control often doesn't leave bruises. It begins with subtle restrictions, emotional manipulation, isolation. It escalates when victims try to leave. And if left unaddressed, it can end like this. We must learn to listen earlier, respond faster, and treat control as the serious threat it is. Because when we say, "Why didn't she just leave?" we ignore that she did, and it cost her everything. Coercive control is a pattern of domination that includes emotional abuse, surveillance, threats, humiliation, and restrictions on liberty. Unlike physical violence, it can be invisible to those on the outside. It's often legal. It can even look like love to an untrained eye. Baxter never needed to hit Hannah to control her. He used fear, he used shame, he used their children. It is precisely this invisible form of abuse that makes coercive control so dangerous and why so many victims suffer in silence. Experts say coercive control is a red flag for eventual lethal violence, and yet the law has been slow to evolve. After the tragedy, Hannah's parents made it their mission to ensure that no other family would suffer the way they had. Through their foundation, they work to educate the public, support survivors, and advocate for legal reform. They speak to schools, police departments, politicians, and community leaders. Their message is simple: we need to recognize coercive control as violence. We need to listen. We need to act. Hannah Clark's murder forced the nation to confront a bitter truth: we hadn't been paying attention. We thought domestic violence only looked like bruises or broken bones. We didn't talk enough about emotional abuse, isolation, or control. After her death, media began using the term coercive control. Queensland committed to criminalizing it. Police received new training. A cultural shift began. Hannah's name became a wake-up call. This story is heartbreaking, but it is not hopeless. Hannah Clark was not naive. She was not weak. She was strong, smart, and loving. She followed every step the system recommended. She left. She got legal protection. She asked for help. And she still died. Real change can't happen after the final blow. It must happen now, before the last chance is gone, because love should never become a weapon. If this story moved you, share it, talk about it, act on it. And if you or someone you love feels trapped, please know you are not alone. There is help, there is hope, and there is a way out. Hannah Clark. Remember her name.